Hi everyone, my name is Helen and I'm currently a space surveillance and tracking engineer. Something that looks like quite complicated. I will explain this job later, but I guess at the beginning it's important that you understand my background, uh, just to let you know that nothing is impossible to reach to a position like this one. So actually I'm from Paris. So I was born in Paris and I spent my whole childhood in Paris, and I was someone that studied very hard. I was from uh, a poor family with three other brothers, and my parents went to Paris for living since the 70s. And so I was studying quite hard because this is a culture thing that the parents want us to study uh, study well and having good marks. So compared to some of you, I already knew since I was young exactly what I wanted to do. So I wanted to study medicine. I wanted to be in the operations and trying to save lives. So at the end, I came up by going to a medicine school in Paris. So for 3 years, I was trying to reach the first year of medicine school, but I failed. And so from this failure was really hard because this means that you have lost, well, it's actually 2 years. So I lost the 2 years of my life, and there was a disappointment from the family, of course. And at that moment, you don't know what you can do. So since it was important to continue to study from forcing by my dad, then for that moment, at a certain point you have to think about what you can do else than the medicine, because specifically in France, for instance, you only have two chances to study medicine, for the first year, and after that, if you fail again, then you are not able to try again. So you really have to change completely your objective of your professional job. So you have to do something like kind of brainstorming, means that you have to quite of sum up what you like in general way, and from what you like to do, what you like and you hope to be able to work with these topics, which kind of job you can try to pursue. So I was thinking, okay, in that moment, I like something that is complex, because I'm someone that likes trying to solve things that are not easy. Then why not something that implies mathematics? Because yeah, it's so typical, but yeah, I do love mathematics. Then as well, something that is really dreamful, that is completely, I would say, untypical, something that you cannot see in your daily lives outside in the street. So why not space in that case? Something that we actually cannot have in control, and the only way we can see space is looking at the sky from where we are. So at that moment I was searching for a school in which you can study aerospace and see where we can go. So I went to an aerospace school as well in Paris and study, so having an engineering background. And at the end, it came up that I ended by an engineering diploma. And based on the different experiences that you can do during your studies, then you are able to converge to the position that you would like to do. It's obviously not easy because there are so many parameters that can be challenging for us to reach the position that we would like to do. But I know that the persistence is one of the keys to keep in mind, because we cannot reach our goals if we are not, if we give up. So here it is. Now I'm currently working as an engineer, and specifically working on space field. And so I'm working in one of the sites in which the European Space Agency has different positions in order to tackle the different problems that we can have in space. So here I will not giving too much complicated details, because it seems something very, very deep. But basically, first of all, engineer. What is being engineer? It's actually, so you start from one specific problem. Can be any kind of problem and from any field, and you want to solve this problem. So you start to think about a specific strategy, a specific plan to solve this problem, which the available tools that you can have in your hands. So it can be using a computer or using mechanical formula. That can be also using the electrical tools. That can be several different things that from different fields that you can gather all together to solve this problem. And at the end, you provide a solution. So an engineer is able to search for a solution to this problem based on all the different informations and tools that he can get. So basically, in my case, there is this specific issue in space that we call space debris. I don't know if you have heard of this. So basically, how are we able to communicate by Skype? How can we able to find our localization from our mobile phone? Can we call ourselves by phone or else? Or how can we broadcast the weather? All of this depends on the satellites that we send to space, and these satellites are actually essential for us. Otherwise, we won't have this technology that we are using now, right? But unfortunately, since many years, there are so many satellites that have been sent to space, but there are many things that have not been thought beforehand. So as a consequence, there are some of them, when they finish their mission, because they are sent to space with an amount of energy that they need to use for their mission. But once they have used all of their energy, what can they do? Then they are like a trash, just a trash. And because of different elements, they are actually moving around the Earth, and we are on Earth. So all of these satellites that we are not able to control anymore, unfortunately, some of them have been collide each other. So actually, something that unfortunately we cannot see from our eye to the sky, but there are millions of debris in space. There are actually more than 20,000 of objects that have a certain centimeter and so on. So at a certain point, this whole trash is actually a danger for us. Why? Because the satellites that we are using for us to communicate, for instance, or to have a GPS location, these satellites are in operation, but they need to be protected. And so we need a certain way to identify when satellites can be collided with some debris, or we need a more precision of where these debris are located in space, because you don't have, with this uncertainty, you can make some bad computation, and at the end you are not able to really predict when a collision can happen. So all of this requires several people, many people, and also an international collaboration to be able to work together to solve this problem. And there are different solutions that are currently ongoing since many years, and are still is still a very hot topic for the future years later on. So that's why we still need the young generation to be involved in this kind of issue, because it's something that is not going to end soon. It's going to continue and get even worse. So I hope that you can see, for instance, you understand better what this issue is. And so the daily life of being an engineer, working in this, basically something that might be not so enthusiastic, is staying in your office and just sit on your chair and being in front of your computer. But the actual good things is that it's the teamwork. It's actually teamwork. So you still have to interact with your colleagues, to interact with other industries from different countries. So it's actually having this important international aspect, working on this in this field. And so you are able to actually improve yourself and get to know in parallel the different culture of everyone, because it's you are not only stick to one culture type of people, unless, depending on which company you are, then it can be. But basically it's really an international thing. And so that's the reason also I found this really interesting, because I really like get to know other people from different countries, sharing different ideas that we might have differently because we are from different culture, but actually can help to find a solution at the end if we all collaborate each other and if we listen each other. So as I said, it's a teamwork, and they are actually different fields. So can be engineer people, can be computer scientist people, can be the management, if you like to be like a leader of a specific project, for instance. The English language is mainly used in this kind of position, of course. And yeah, this is a really nice thing. If you like computer, if you like programming something, like if you see that starting from writing some line of code, you are able to reach by establishing a new application that can be used, then yeah, engineer it's one of the position that you can try to tackle. And yes, so here I basically presented what is to be an engineer working in space debris field. Here I can show you some links if you are interested to get to know better what the space debris are, so you may have a much better idea to in addition to what I have explained, then obviously feel free to ask any question. I would be very glad if I can explain to you much better, and if you have some curiosity of different problems related to space, because there's not only space debris issues, but there are also others. So to sum up, so I would advise you not to give up at all. It's important that you can be in the situation in which you think that it's too late, but it's never late, never been late. As from my own experience, we can always compare with what the others are situated, but the most important is the final situation, the final status. If you are able to reach your goal, even if it took several years, it doesn't matter, because at least you have achieved your goal. In order to understand much better actually who you are and what you do really like, then I would suggest you not to hesitate to ask any questions, to meet as many different people as possible. Don't be shy, don't be afraid asking questions, even if you think that they seem stupid, but there are no stupid questions at the end. Any questions, there's no problem at all, and don't have to be ashamed. No one is perfect at the end, but you can still have the power to change your way of living in your future. So I hope that this has been helpful for you, and yeah, feel free to ask me any questions. I don't bite anyone. Bye bye.